This abroad life is not for me. I say this to myself all the time, especially in the quiet moments when I am alone, going about the mundane activities that now define my daily routine. Abroad life is definitely not for me. This isn't a complaint. It is not a cry for help. It is simply the truth. This is the story I tell myself. Let me explain. I am deeply grateful for the opportunity I had to relocate to the UK with my family in 2023. This journey has blessed me in ways I never imagined. One of my greatest blessings is the strengthened bond I now share with my husband and children. I never thought we could be closer, but here we are, tighter than ever. Also, I am not the typical immigrant who jackpot from Nigeria. I don't face many of the struggles that define the average immigrant experience. I once mentioned in a previous video that I did not jackpot from Nigeria, and someone responded saying that anyone who left Nigeria in the last 5 years had in fact jackpot. From the tone of that comment, I could tell that the person assumed I was trying to distance myself from the struggles of those who left Nigeria, maybe out of desperation, as though I saw myself as different or better. And that's not the case at all. For those unfamiliar with the term, Japa simply means to leave Nigeria in pursuit of a better life, often with the goal of securing permanent residency and citizenship in another country. In simpler terms, Japa means to run, to escape Nigeria. The truth is, I have no issue with the concept of Japa. In fact, I have 2 siblings who have relocated in the past 3 years, and honestly, I wish I could be like them, especially when I think of their chosen destinations. They both live in Canada. If I had my way, I would jackpot too, but to Canada, so that we could all live happily ever after. Yes, I would totally jackpot, despite my insistence that abroad life is not for me. Like I said, I have little to complain about living in the UK. We did not drain our life savings to move here. Our journey felt more like an all-expense-paid trip. We faced no financial struggles upon arrival, and our finances remained stable. I'm good, you guys, not because we have more than enough, but because what we have is enough for me. I can live with more and I can live with less. That contentment has helped me in so many ways. We have truly adjusted well here. Our lifestyle has always been suited for this environment. My husband and I have always been the hands-on DIY enthusiasts, actively involved parents, and we are not very social. Yes, I am that introvert who somehow married an even more introverted introvert. So blending into the UK society was relatively easy. Beyond the first few weeks of feeling like fish out of water, our integration has been seamless. Surprisingly, I have more friends here than I thought I would ever have in this small, predominantly white city of Norwich. I like this city. It's the best of both worlds. A modern, well-structured place that has managed to preserve its traditions, both physically and socially. My reaction to the weather is what has shocked me the most about my experience living in the UK. I think I am the only African I know who gets seasonal affective disorder during summer. Yes, during summer. I got to find out that it is called reverse seasonal affective disorder. I was most miserable at the peak of summer, when the sun would rise at 4 a.m. and set by 10 p.m. You guys, I was not okay. Surprisingly, I felt my best in winter. December, early January, I was having a blast. I miss some of our Nigerian food, to be honest. I think it's one of the things I miss the most about Nigeria. Scrolling on Instagram sometimes makes me wish I can order takeout directly from Nigeria to the UK. But for the most part, I cook whatever I crave. My kids, the most important part of my life, they are not just fine, they are thriving. My kids are doing so well. They have made new friends here while still keeping in touch with their friends in Nigeria. They have adjusted so well, and their memories of Nigeria are starting to fade. I could live here in the UK for 25 years more and not miss much about Nigeria. And that, my dear friends, is the problem. I don't want to be okay with this abroad life. This is not the life I envisioned for myself. Don't get me wrong, it is not a bad life. I must make this clear. But I feel like I am one of the few people who remember Nigeria for what it truly is. Many immigrants, after a few months abroad, start to remember Nigeria differently. Some recall it as a broken, war-torn place, describing it as though it were ruled by a ruthless dictator sucking the life out of its people. And for others, they romanticize it. They see it as a paradise that they long to return to. I've noticed that an immigrant's age, success, and how long ago they left Nigeria heavily influences their perception of Nigeria. The longer you live abroad, the more likely you are to see Nigeria as a paradise. That's not the case for me. I remember Nigeria exactly as it was for me. A deeply flawed country bursting with potential. But more importantly, I remember Nigeria as home. The way a teenager remembers home. Yes, a place where sometimes you wish to escape, where you crave more freedom and control, but also as a place filled with warmth, laughter, and an undeniable sense of belonging. Like that's your favorite pillow that gets warm after a while, so you flip it over to the cold side and continue sleeping peacefully. That is what Nigeria is to me, and I don't want to forget that. I don't want my children to never experience that Nigeria. This is why I don't want to embrace this abroad life fully. I don't want to reach my old age convinced that I will retire in Nigeria, only to find out that the home I remember no longer exists. Not because the country has changed, but because I have changed, because I have outgrown my home. My siblings are gone. My neighbor's kids I once played with have moved on. My parents, I don't even want to think about them in that light. Is this self-torture? Is this a self-inflicted wound? Probably, because in truth, like I said, I have nothing tangible to complain about, except that I just don't want this abroad life. When I envisioned my future, this was not it. It is not about wealth or security. It is not about my social life or my peace of mind. It is about my roots. It is about my identity. It is about my family. It's about refusing to settle for nostalgia. Quite frankly, I know that the life I long for is a dream that has faded, a ship that has sailed, but I still want it. I want to walk towards it. So far, my life in the UK feels like an extended vacation. And like every vacation, I look forward to the end, to the moment where we get to pack our bags and return home and reminisce about the beautiful memories we made here. That's what I want, to tell stories about our adventures in the UK, not to sit abroad recounting tales of the good old days in Nigeria, to an audience that, to be honest, can't relate. I want to travel the world and then go home. I want to land at the airport, stop by my local market, buy fresh udara and roasted corn with local pear. I sound like one of those 60-year-olds dreaming of a Wakanda that doesn't exist. Omo, this is how we start, so. But like I said, this is the story I choose to tell myself so that I don't forget home. And maybe, just maybe, if I tell myself these stories long enough, I will find my way back home.